Are we just starting?
Sure.
All right. Well, welcome to the One Fall Show.
This is a cold start, eh?
Absolutely.
And sometimes, you get caught up basking in the glory of the opulent WrestlePal chandelier. You lose track of time.
It's particularly opulescent. I noticed that, is it every other bulb is not lit?
Not quite.
Because if it was...
it appears that is the case. You have found a pattern, sir.
Because if it was, I don't know that either of us could see anything. It would be like the glory of heaven in here.
Yes. And oddly enough, I have tried to change those bulbs. It is not simply pure sloth. This is one of the few things in my house that I have attempted to maintain, but those sockets simply do not work.
I like to think that every time you go to change the bulbs, you put a new bulb in one of the sockets that isn't currently working, and when you're not looking, it changes which ones are working, which ones aren't.
Could be. We'll have to try to recall to look next week and see if it's the same pattern. Let me make a little map here of the pattern. Like we're playing some sort of video game from 1997.
Yeah, you got to memorize the patterns.
Okay. All right. No secret doors have opened, but the pattern is written down.
Shawnee Constant, I cannot tell you how thrilled I am about the game that you proposed last week.
Oh, yeah. So this is what I did was I said, that in fantasy football sort of mentality, there's this a suicide pool where you pick a losing team every week. And the goal is to get as far as you can in the season, still picking losers.
Yeah.
So what I've done is we're picking losers, people who won't be in WrestleMania.
Right.
Every time one of these folks make an appearance on Raw or SmackDown, you get a point.
Which you don't want.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I am thrilled about it. As everybody I've told about this thinks it's hilariously fun.
Okay, good.
And I've gotten a lot of really good feedback. So hopefully you guys at home listening to the One Fall Show are also in on this game. I'm going to have to make a spreadsheet or some shit because it's going to be a long time coming. And I'm real excited about, like, between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, what our rosters look like at that point and how deep it's gone. And if we have to start picking, like, I'm going to take a chance that maybe Shinsuke Nakamura is not going to be there.
Right, yeah. So far, I've got Epico Cologne, and you have Tyler Breeze.
Tyler Breeze, yeah.
Heartbreaking for both of us.
Right, so we'll pick again for this week coming up later in the show. But let's get to this week in wrestling. What were you thinking? How are you feeling about Raw and SmackDown this week?
Okay, so Raw opened up, and I thought, this is fun. We got this new unity of... who do we have there? We have the...
it was Baron Corbin.
Baron Corbin.
The Almighty Bobby Lashley.
Yes, Bobby Lashley.
That's his new nickname, apparently, as of this week, is the Almighty Bobby Lashley.
No longer my man.
Not a bad nickname.
No, it works.
Say.
I like him in this context, too. Coming out like in the Terminator gear. He's got like the leather vest and the dark sunglasses with... the what's his nuts to his side.
Yeah, Leo Rush with no shirt at all.
23-year-old piece of gold. I like Leo Rush.
And then Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre, who, we all sort of knew when he came back that there were going to be big things for him.
Yeah.
I'm liking, oddly enough, Bobby Lashley and Baron Corbin more at this moment.
Really?
At this moment than Drew McIntyre.
God,
yes.
We are like polar opposites about this.
Okay,
because
fair.
they came out, and my first thought was like, "Oh, Sean, he's finally getting his faction."
Mm-hmm. I like that. That's
right,
a cool movement.
But at the same time, I'm like, not like this. Not that.
I think this is temporary. It's evolving.
This, but not like this.
It's evolving. Just like we thought the Dogs of War were the thing. No,
right.
For sure. Maybe I'm never going to get that thing, that big glorious light at the end of the tunnel I've been seeking.
Sure.
But this was another example of that bigger story being told, which I really enjoyed.
Those tiny shots in the arm are totally worth it.
Yes. And that went on for like 40 minutes.
It did go on for a long-ass time because they came out and they talked a bunch of smack. Baron Corbin is calling himself the general manager-elect because the Braun Strowman match is going to happen whether Braun is healed or not.
Right.
And they showed Braun at out in Alabama pre-surgery with a very banged-up elbow.
Because they had abused him the week before, that goon squad that we're talking about here.
Yeah.
And so getting to see him come back, that's, I've complained many a time that something will happen and then it's dropped immediately. So I'm like, ooh, this isn't dropped. It's still going. And it tied over to the end of the episode. So I'm like, bookends.
Yep.
Then the episode went like flatline.
Yeah, super downhill.
The end was mildly gratifying, but only because the rest was so bad.
Right.
And that's mostly what I have to say about Raw. You're going to have to guide any conversation we have beyond this.
Well, we did get to see Elias come out and, do his face shtick now instead of his heel shtick and make fun of, and get the whole crowd to sing along to Bobby Lashley Sucks.
Yep, that was fun.
Which was super fun. And then, a long-ass match between the two. I had forgotten Elias drops a Macho Man style elbow, and that with the camera trick that they do, like when he hits the rope or when he comes off the top rope, they kind of zoom in on him as they follow him down, makes it feel like he is in the air forever.
Right.
And I forgot how good it looked. Like
that is definitely his high spot, right? He's got a few moves that he does, but nothing like out of the ordinary great.
Right.
But he's fun. He's very much even if he's not a carbon copy of Randy the Macho Man, he's definitely an of that era wrestler, right?
For sure.
His body type, his look, and his moveset all feels like that sort of mid-'80s.
Well, it's the guitar too, like the guy coming out with the guitar and stuff like it lends you to think of Jeff Jarrett or the Honky Tonk Man or something like that. But I don't know that anybody has had the success with the guitar carrying gimmick that the Drifter Elias
not like this,
has, and definitely looking forward to big things with Elias in the same way, like you were saying, we look forward to big things with Drew McIntyre. And it certainly feels like, especially over the last month or so, that they're building Drew to be something that when eventually they drop him into the main event, we won't feel the same way we did with like Jinder Mahal.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck is this guy doing here?
Yeah, no, something's going on. A story is being told.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Very slowly.
Painfully slowly.
Very slowly.
And sometimes painfully awkwardly. By this week on Raw, Bayley and
Sasha?
No, and Nia Jax. They were two separate segments. Sorry, I'm jumping around here.
Okay.
But they're tied together by the fact that they were just bad. Those were lengthy promos that just sucked the wind out of the room. I enjoy both of them as workers.
I am a huge advocate of women's wrestling in 2018, 2016.
Sure, the Becky Lynch stuff is the best.
Right, but at the same time, as a fan, you got to be able to identify when something just ain't good. And definitely the Nia Jax stuff. In fact, at one point, Nia was talking to, she was giving her speech about why she's going to beat Ronda Rousey at TLC, and talking about, making sure to get the heel heat by going #facebreaker, reminding us that she's the cause of our lack of Becky Lynch.
Yeah, no, and that's good story building. I enjoy that aspect of it.
But at one point, she said something to get some heat, and she looked over at Tamina to get an affirmative or something like that, and Tamina just kind of shook her head. I was like, no, almost like, no, don't drag me into this. This is, even I know this is fucking terrible, and I don't say nothing.
I made it 20 years in this industry by not ever saying a word. I'm not letting you sink my ship now.
No, not at all.
Before pension time.
But yeah, Ronda comes out and gives us another
Ronda speech,
another Ronda promo that I tend to wonder if Ronda has maybe some severe stage fright.
Yeah, I think so.
Because a lot of even some my girlfriend, who's kind of a part-time, like she comes in and out of the room while the show's going on, when the people she wants to see is going on, but she's in the back of the house and she can hear Ronda Rousey. She's like, why does she always sound like she's gonna cry?
Right. Yeah, she definitely does seem to have an issue. It's there appears to be some good promos buried in there, right?
Right.
We've heard that she writes her own promos, whether that's true or not, who knows? But there are elements of her promos that are decent, but the delivery is usually off the mark. You're right, and sometimes she can channel that emotion into the anger of the thing, and it kind of hits.
Yeah,
but we have not had it's not as though she has come to the WWE just spitting fire in terms of great promos.
For sure, and I definitely don't want to say that she's been all misses, but I personally. Ronda Rousey is just girl Brock Lesnar to me now. Like her matches are formulaic. The builds feel formulaic. The endings feel like they feel predetermined, which is really silly to say about wrestling. But
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
It feels like a foregone conclusion.
I like the last one where she just got wailed on by Charlotte.
Yeah, no, that was probably the first of many Ronda Rousey, or of few Ronda Rousey matches that I didn't see the ending coming.
Right,
when she came tearing around that corner and got the kendo stick right in the guts. There were a couple of things that I noticed were left off the Hulu version of Raw, because Raw is definitely hitting a point that it has, and I've been a lapsed fan that's come back in about 2000 and been watching since. So for the last 18 years or something like that, there are definitely times where Raw is something that's just on in the background.
Sure. And we are definitely hitting, I think everyone agrees, we're hitting a Hulu-worthy time.
Yes.
And it's weird because every month or two we'll get a great episode or two, and then a whole lot of just what. How did you not harness? Like, you had fire, you had a spark. Why did you not harness that?
Right. But there were a couple of things left off Hulu, as there are, because they cut it down to an hour and a half. One of them being the Revival versus the Lucha House Party. So I had to go back on the DVR and watch that. Love to see the Revival, and I think these guys have good chemistry. The Revival and the Lucha House Party. Unfortunately, it's not leading anywhere.
Yeah, I don't see that there's something on the other side of this promo, so it feels like filler.
Yeah.
Or program, rather.
Right, which you know, you look at what's going on otherwise in the tag team division, which is they had the AOP against Bobby Roode and Chad Gable.
That's still going on, eh?
Yeah, well, but that feels like it's going somewhere.
Yeah, but we thought it was going somewhere like 10 weeks ago.
Yeah.
This is like the longest sidebar. Like, I don't see how this lives up to...
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Is any...
No,
I'm sorry.
That's my ringtone on my phone there. A little Torg for you.
Hello, Torg.
Yeah, but yeah, this is apparently if this is going anywhere, it's going to the bathroom.
Oh yeah,
from the looks of it,
it got weird and dark, creepy.
That's some Attitude Era bullshit right there.
Yeah, it sure is.
Taking Bobby Roode's robe and making sure we know that it's worth thousands of dollars, and then stomping on it in the toilet, and then very obviously
straight peeing on it.
Taking a water bottle and kind of
what?
That was not urine.
Oh man,
that, my friend, was not urine.
Well, I'm not on. I am not examining with as close an eye as you are, sir. So they must have carned me again.
There was no tent to that urine. It was clear as a waterfall.
But it was weird for sure.
Yeah, no, it was out of place in 2018.
Yeah, and now is it just like a random thing, or was the weird like the Millennium Man stuff we're hearing and the beta male stuff, and like are they getting, dare I say, edgy?
I don't know.
Or is it just like a bum week of writing?
Right, yeah. I don't know. It definitely...
Or is it even bad, right? I mean, people loved it. They loved it. I wasn't offended by it. I didn't particularly care.
Right. But it was
weird in the PG era, for sure.
It was something that I would have expected to see in the year 1999 or 2000 when, you know, Vince Russo was helming the show.
Yes, good call.
But to see it in 2018 was like, what is this throwback to the Attitude Era doing in the middle of the Raw?
Sadly, I think that that P spot is going to be the high point of this whole arc for Bobby Roode. I don't know that they have great matches
until
ahead
I
of them.
see Chad Gable do a stalling German suplex to either of the Authors of Pain. Yeah, because I'm sure it's on the horizon.
Okay, you make a good point. I'm
Seeing Chad Gable pick up a guy that's twice his weight and then like just slowly German suplex him is impressive as fuck.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Another thing they actually, I'm looking at the thing, they cut a bunch of stuff out of Raw this week on Hulu. Alicia Fox and Ember Moon fought as a preview of this week's Mixed Match Challenge.
They did. It was forgettable.
It was. Speaking of Mixed Match Challenge, to divert really quickly, this week was the Raw side of the playoffs with Braun Strowman being injured. Baron Corbin apparently thought the best replacement for Braun Strowman in Ember Moon's team was Kurt Hawkins.
How did that go? Did you watch it?
Oh yeah.
His winning streak, his losing streak rather, has that been broken?
His losing streak is intact.
Oh, poor Ember.
The spot at the end. She went from I can't lose this mixed match challenge, I've got Braun Strowman on my team, to I cannot win this match.
Yeah, what a weird moment of booking. I mean, did she already know she was going to be losing, and was this the predetermined fate, or is it like they find out the night of?
Yeah,
and it's like, all right, well, how is my gravy train going to continue today?
I know, and that's the thing. I hope that they can option this into something for Ember Moon.
She's
some kind
over.
Some kind of character addition to her of like, okay, like just because she was connected to Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, kind of shafted her by giving her Kurt Hawkins.
Because hopefully it's an in-story screw job, not a circumstances. Good luck with your future screw job, because if she's been demoted from Braun Strowman to Kurt Hawkins level, I don't have enough fleshed out on the Shawnee Big Board to tell you how many steps of down that is.
Right.
But it is a lot of steps.
But the final spot of the match, Ember hit she went for the Eclipse off the top rope on Alicia Fox, and when she got up to the top rope, Kurt Hawkins tagged himself in by tabbing her foot. She hit the Eclipse, and then Kurt Hawkins went for the pin because he did not know the rules of the Mixed Match Challenge, which is that the boys can't fight the girls.
So he tried to pin...
Alicia Fox.
Oh, no.
While Ember's like, what are you doing?
That's some R-Truth shit.
Yep. And then...
Maybe this is going to spin off into an R-Truth.
I don't know.
Kurt Hawkins rivalry. That would be fun.
She quickly collected herself and gave both of the Singh brothers an Eclipse off of the apron.
Oh.
In the meantime, Jinder Mahal picking up the victory with the Colossus. Leading them into
perhaps the worst finisher in the Mixed Match Challenge, I would assume.
For sure. The other match was what is it? Bayley and Finn Balor and it was Mickie James and
Bobby Lashley. How did that go?
Bayley got the win over Mickie.
Okay.
So Finn and Bayley move on.
Nice.
To fight Jinder and Alicia Fox.
Just after that beatdown that Finn had to take at the hands of Bobby Lashley and...
Well, thankfully, the Mixed Match Challenge happens on Tuesdays. So
he had a whole day. Thank you.
He had an entire 24 hours to recover.
Good deal.
For that.
Man, all this damn marijuana is making the time go weird.
Speaking of Jinder Mahal, another thing they cut off Hulu, and I'm not surprised, Jinder Mahal picking up the victory over No Way Jose.
Yeah, that was a legitimate low point.
No Way Jose still works here.
We had already been, either just before or just after that, we had been teased that we were going to hear from Kurt Hawkins. And I'm like, this first 40 minutes, I was so excited about the show. Now I'm not sure if Kurt Hawkins or if No Way Jose is coming up after the break, and I do not know what the hell is going on.
Right. I'd forgotten, like early in the show too, one of the other high spots is them moving Alexa Bliss into a managerial role with the entire
that was
women's
fun.
division.
Big story kind of stuff. Again, it ties into
Absolutely.
that. Is there an authauthority thing building? And I love that.
I look at that and I feel
that
like
that was the end. That was the end of my 40 minutes. That was like the right there.
I look at that as Baron Corbin is going to get murdered when Braun Strowman gets his hands on him, and then Alexa Bliss is going to move in and be in charge of everything.
Hell yeah, I can't argue with that.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be super fun. And it was cool to see that Open Forums sketch was kind of fun.
Wait, the Open Forum sketch?
Yeah, where they had both Sasha and Bayley in the ring with Alexa Bliss, and she picked out somebody to ask them questions.
Oh yeah, no, I couldn't with it.
No,
I didn't like it at all. Hopefully I'm on the wrong side of history on that one, because to me that was near the beginning of the third hour, and I was so thoroughly demoralized by what had transpired that I was like, this just sucks. Well, hopefully people weren't in so much of a doldrums as I was. I went from real high to real low in this episode, sir.
Yeah, for sure. Well, one of those doldrums is very obviously Seth Rollins bringing back the Intercontinental Open Challenge. We're like, sweet, yes, who's it going to be?
Okay, so there are three possibilities, right? Either it's going to be Dean Ambrose, and we're going to have a slobber knocker, and it's going to be like an early Christmas present.
Yeah.
Or B, it's going to be a huge swerve, and it's going to be someone hilarious, and we're going to be like, oh, that's not Dean Ambrose, that's someone hilarious. Or Plan C, once again, we can watch. And boy, on paper, these should be great matches, but in real life, I check out. I do not care about Dolph Ziggler against Rollins anymore. Dolph Ziggler is dragging Rollins down, not the other way around.
Yeah, and I heard somebody I talked to said that they'd read in one of the dirt sheets that the guys who have been pretty much planning out the Seth Rollins matches for the last couple of months are Natalia's husband,
okay,
whose name escapes me at the moment, Tyson Kidd, and Jason Jordan.
What?
And I'm like, is Jason Jordan been in wrestling long enough to be an agent?
No.
I don't understand how he can help you with your match.
Well, whatever.
But yeah, Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins again, they had a perfectly acceptable match, but it's a match I've seen more times than I've seen Sheamus and Randy Orton fight. So I'm kind of done.
Yeah, when people were booing you as the main event in a pay-per-view, you should have known that was the time to put a fork in it.
That was another thing I'd heard out of the dirt sheets, is that this particular week's Raw had Vince McMahon's thumbprints all over it, and boy oh boy did that Bobby Roode bathroom spot feel like a Vince McMahon thing.
Sure, yeah.
100%. Dude loves his bathroom humor. And I feel bad too because the end of the night was Baron Corbin against Finn Balor.
And it was all right. I wanted more fireworks,
right?
But it furthered the story that you got from the beginning. If you had made it one 1 hour show, I would have thought this was very, very good.
Yeah.
But after the 2 hours,
of bleh,
I needed something great to happen there, and I didn't get it. But it's still lit. It gave me enough to think, well, maybe next week I'm going to get a little more of the story. But damn it, I want way more of the story. I don't want it to be so tiered right now. Right now, it's all the top end is the intrigue. The Intercontinental Championship is sort of, I don't know. I'm not even into the Rollins Ambrose stuff. I need it all connected.
Yeah,
it was all connected. All of these characters were connected 3 months ago. Well, they shouldn't be disconnecting now. It should be solidifying more.
Right. But we did get to see Dean getting his shots.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, at least we know Dean's not going to come down with anything in the near future. He's got his shots.
The weird, and he's not an anti-vaxxer, thankfully.
Yeah, we know that for sure.
He could have went either way. I've heard some shoot interviews with him. But, getting the shot in the butt, basically. Getting his rabies shot. This one's got to be in your hip. And he's making the ridiculous faces while delivering a very, straight promo.
Yeah.
That was actually, I hand it to him. Given the circumstances,
right.
He executed that very, very well.
I also read in one of the dirt sheets, too, that apparently Fox is not happy with the idea that when they get SmackDown, they only get, half the roster. Fox is starting to say stuff like, well, wait a minute, we don't get Ronda Rousey? That's bullshit. We paid you a couple $1 billion. We want Ronda Rousey.
They didn't understand the deal.
I guess they didn't. I guess they didn't know that they were only getting, kind of half of the superstars.
They got carnied.
They did.
You dumb Fox executives.
We're not getting Brock Lesnar.
When you held the meeting inside of a giant tent, didn't you realize that something might be up?
When they had to play you into the tent with a pipe organ.
Yeah.
It sounded like you.
And when you signed the contract and you heard, wah, wah, you should have spoke up then. Why are you waiting until now?
You're rolling.
Alexa, play the Lions Fight song.
The Detroit Lions Fight Song by Devush Band in the World, starting now on Amazon Music.
Yeah, not too long ago I ran into the...
What the?
I have no idea what this is.
We got to talking, and he had heard about all our hit songs and stuff that we had been doing for the Green Bay Packers.
I gotta know what it sounds like now.
I did not know this was going to happen.
The best bits are the ones we did not plan out.
To be proud of all their Super Bowl victories, championships.
Real comedian here.
On, two, 3, 4. Thank you very much.
What a jerk. Alexa, you're a jerk.
Well, he's no Elias.
No.
But he had us in rapture for a good 3 minutes. So good on him, whoever that guy was. Well, let's talk about something that was way more fun. Tuesday Night SmackDown. SmackDown Live. Getting to see Becky Lynch come back with a new video package and a new t-shirt that looks very Stone Cold Steve Austin. Just a plain black shirt with white box lettering that says The Man on it. It's friggin' awesome.
Yep.
And then, delivering her straight fire with Charlotte and setting up, as far as I'm concerned, what's the main event of TLC?
Absolutely.
Which is her and Charlotte in a TLC match with somebody else.
Yes,
from
because
the women's
they had
roster.
a battle royal, which is always fun.
I love battle royals. Give me battle royals every week.
The psychology of this one a little weird.
A little bit, yeah, and we'll definitely touch on that because that was a thing. We're talking about the women's wrestling on Monday night, and then it happened again on Tuesday night. There were spots that, as a longtime fan, I see and I'm like, that's bad ring psychology. And other people may just gloss over it and not recognize it whatsoever. But to me, I'm like, why did that happen? Mm-hmm. That does not make sense. In the same way that my girlfriend pointed out just before Survivor Series, why is Charlotte 5 feet away from Becky and they're just beating up Raw people when they fucking hated each other for the last 3 months?
Right.
kind of thing. So, but yeah, so we've got so that set up the match at the end of the night, which was going to be the SmackDown women's title match. And then we get to see the Usos coming back.
Usos
fighting the bar. We also got to see that Cesaro's smarting off to the Big Show.
Yeah, that was very silly but fun.
Pulling on his strap and then just getting clocked right in the jaw. They no longer have the largest bartender in the world.
That was a short-lived experiment.
It was.
He wanted to give. Big Show just needed to stretch his legs.
I guess the Big Show wanted the holidays off or something, man. He's just there and gone.
Yeah.
Before you know it. AJ Styles also returning with a fiery promo, pointing out that Daniel Bryan wasn't at any of the house shows last week or isn't at SmackDown this week, and maybe he's taking notes from somebody over on Raw.
I was hoping he was also going to show up as a weird, artsy, disheveled hobo man.
That would have been real funny.
That was going to be the direction this thing goes into. Yeah. I don't love AJ Styles' straight face promos, but I think that's because I don't love straight face promos.
Yeah,
it's not AJ Styles' fault, right? He's just delivering your sort of very classic, I'm going to get my revenge. How dare you? You kicked me in the balls, you jerk.
Right. And, what was it? It was over a year ago that he was feuding with John Cena, and he had kind of like some bratty heel promos when it's
some of those were good, but they did the whole they played along with the whole Cena buries people angle in a really effective way.
Right.
In that particular instance.
But I would imagine AJ and Bryan are going to lock up again at tables, ladders, and chairs.
Do we kind of miss John Cena right now?
A little bit,
in the landscape of SmackDown and Raw.
Granted, apparently in about 4 weeks, you won't be able to miss him on the big screen when he's hunting down a Transformer.
Yes.
So
Bumblebee.
Those commercials are everywhere. What else we got going on here? Shinsuke Nakamura attacking Rusev before he even got a match.
Yeah, but I don't know if I was excited for Shinsuke or more disappointed for Rusev.
Yeah, but Shinsuke delivering definitely one of the stronger Shinkasas that I've seen in a while. In a long time. The last couple of months, it's whenever we do actually see Shinsuke on TV, he seems to just kind of push people over with his shin.
Yeah, I wonder if it's legitimately a older wrestler, younger wrestler delineation, right? They're like, if we lose Rusev, no one really cares. I mean, of course, many people in the WWE universe care,
right?
But nobody in the management particularly cares.
Exactly.
Whereas if you break Randy Orton's jaw, then it's millions of dollars in contracts that have to hit the shelf,
right? Speaking of Randy Orton, so now it's Rey Mysterio that he's going to be stealing his mask, and carrying it around and stuff. Which, okay,
it's a fun angle, but it didn't really need to go more than a week.
But we had Jeff Hardy's 20th anniversary celebration, and he had like pictures of himself in the ring, and I was fairly certain this was Randy Orton.
Oh yeah, I totally thought Randy Orton was coming out to bust this up. So when it was Samoa Joe,
right,
there was much rejoicing.
Yeah,
well, I don't know that I am real excited to see those two lock up.
Right.
Definitely more so than Orton and Hardy again.
Right. But it was that was another one of those things where pulling a little bit out of reality. Samoa Joe mentioning something about we can't have champagne around Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, rude.
Yeah, or his substance abuse issues, which you would imagine they clear with each other before they bring that stuff up.
Sure, yeah.
At
the
same
want
time,
Jeff Hardy to just cry because he's been blindsided by a
right. But yeah, hopefully we're looking forward to a real strong Samoa Joe Jeff Hardy match. Man, Joe's another one of those guys, man. Just how many people got to get hurt?
I think that Jeff Hardy, this is his last year, and Jeff Hardy's like, I'm going to keep upping the ante and go out in such a blaze of glory that it's going to be amazing. I'm going to go up against the garbage truck that Braun Strowman tipped over.
Right.
If I have to, but an injury is going to take me out of this business in my greatest moment.
Yeah.
Because last time Joe is dangerous.
I for me personally, one of the high spots, and this is another almost rhetorical question I have for you: how the are the New Day still this entertaining?
I don't know. Man.
Years later, you could still do a backstage segment with the New Day and the Miz, and it's just chock full of fun. Just absolute fun. From them making fun of him losing to two guys last week who we can't even remember their names at this point.
Yes.
To finding out that Big E is, as the Miz put it, a mariner.
Yes.
A closet mariner. Fan of the Marine franchise.
I did not even realize that Miz was reprising the exact same character that had been John Cena in the early. I am not a mariner. I have not seen a single one. But if they were on Netflix, I'd probably watch them.
Yeah, well, you could do it for Talk Horror to me.
Yeah,
because I'm sure those movies are scary, but not in a good way.
No, not in a good way for sure.
So that led to Kofi Kingston and The Miz, which is a match we probably saw back in 2008. So
You think they were fighting for the Intercontinental Championship back in the day,
right? For sure. But the real story of this match is Big E wearing an Iconics T-shirt under his singlet, and Xavier wearing Becky Lynch's new The Man T-shirt
that was great,
underneath his vest. Which if the New Day are gonna show up for one segment and you're going to use them to shill merchandise, then okay.
Yes, yeah. Especially, it feels like they're putting people over, and you figure that they have enough gravitas that they get to decide. Like, hey, we're going to do this for these, help put these other
They're like,
performers over.
We need you to wear somebody else's T-shirt, and they're like, well, give me that one because it's cool.
Right.
Not like, well, I'll wear that one because we have a lot of them.
Could it possibly be that the New Day are the only Iconic fans outside of Australia?
Oh, maybe. It's entirely possible. That was speaking of shilling merchandise. We're in the season of every week somebody's got to be shilling Shop Zone for WWEshop.com for the thing. And Monday night's Bailey and Sasha shop commercial was fun.
Yeah, that was the best thing they did.
That was definitely the best thing they did that night. And then we had the Usos and Naomi on Tuesday.
That was not the best thing they did.
I was entertained by it because I've never been menacingly whispered at to buy something.
Fair.
The Usos just menacingly get it. Get it. Like, whoa, yes, sir.
A little creepy. Yeah.
Let me get right on the internet right now. And then we had at the end of the night a 9-woman SmackDown Women's Championship match for whoever's going to win it. TLC. Going into the match, who do you think was going to win?
Boy, I'm to a point now where I try not to think about who's going to win because I wanted Asuka to win.
Yes.
I don't know that I ever imagined Asuka was going to win. Although I was very excited by how over she was with the crowd.
Yes.
That's the one fun thing about that is where they do the little sort of, you get the quick hit intros and you're like, we gotta introduce 10 people. Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
I always forget that the one advantage of that is you get to see who that particular audience really pops for. And they were way over for Asuka.
Absolutely.
It's almost as though we have gotten to taste of blood because they gave us Becky in the context that we wanted Becky.
Right.
And now we like, okay, great. Who's next on our list? Asuka. We've been clamoring for Asuka. If we keep going like this, eventually Shinsuke is going to have his day.
We can only hope. We can only hope. I did really enjoy the spot where Asuka eliminated both the Iconics at the same time. That was super fun. At one point, I think they were down to like the final 4, which was Naomi and Asuka, and then I believe it was Mandy and Sonya.
Yes.
And I can't remember who it was, but it was one of the heels literally walked by one of the faces to get to Naomi, like literally walked by Asuka to get to Naomi in the corner. And I'm like, why didn't she just beat up Asuka? She got her back to you, and you're the bad guy. Why don't you just
just sloppy storytelling,
just mess her up from behind kind of thing? But no, it didn't happen that way. Adding Asuka to a TLC match with Charlotte and Becky. If I wasn't already pumped for this match, I am now.
Sure, yeah. It's almost to a point now where, now you're just adding. Now I'm going to feel like no matter who wins, I lose because now there are 2 people that I don't want. I want to see them all win. I love them all.
Yeah.
It's like you go ahead and add Nikki Cross to this and completely shred my heart.
For sure. For sure, yeah. Because
speaking of the bad psychology, though, Asuka fought on the outside of that ring for a really long time.
Yeah.
Like, you do not stay on the outside of the ring in a battle royal.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Her and Sonya
Get back in there.
Her and Sonya Deville, I remember saying this to you while we were watching it too. Here's the real twist. Sonya Deville just got a T-shirt a couple weeks ago. This is the beginning of her big push.
No.
But her and Sonya Deville on the outside of the ring for like a full 90 seconds at the end of the match. And it's like, guys, get it back in the ring. This is where you lose.
Yes.
You don't want to be out here
playing a dangerous game.
That's true. But yeah, I would definitely give SmackDown a big thumbs up this week. And
Raw a
huge thumbs down.
Yeah, and apparently the ratings reflected it. I saw another article again that the ratings not good for Raw this week. So.
Yeah. Speaking of something ratings related, did you see the report that NXT TakeOver is the most watched thing on the network?
Beat Survivor Series? Could that be true?
Yeah, I guess.
I was shocked by that.
Yeah,
I mean, it is the better product,
right?
No doubt about it.
Right, it's one of those things where we tune into Raw, no matter how much we get disappointed, because we expect, this is the show. Mm-hmm. So if something big's going to happen, it's going to happen on the show.
It's getting so bad that I'm feeling like, and this is inside baseball. I probably shouldn't bring it up on the radio. On the radio.
On the radio.
The radio was in 1987.
On the podcast.
Oh wait, no, you're on the radio in 2018.
I'm glad you're on One Fall Show.
Oh my God, this has been a disaster. Why did I open my mouth?
You want to finish that sentence?
Yes. At some point, maybe we should change the format of the One Fall Show because, damn it, I am tired of watching Raw every Monday.
Do you need to start being my Impact Wrestling guru?
I don't know, man.
I'll catch Raw.
We may need to figure something out. we have the same, very, very devoted 10 or 15 listeners.
Yeah.
Is there something else you'd like to hear us talk about? We can call it the One Fall Show and maybe talk about
That's
wrestling and something that fills the 3 hours of my life. That isn't. All right, no, sorry. Let's carry on.
All right,
That was just an aside.
Well, you're talking like you're saying, we're kind of hitting a bit of a doldrum with Monday Night Raw. If you subscribe to the WWE Network, there is plenty of shit to check out.
True.
Even when you're very you can literally not watch Raw on Monday nights and just find out, through the dirt sheets or watch it on Hulu the next day and catch the highlights and then spend your Monday night watching something you're going to enjoy a hell of a lot more.
Yeah, House Hardy.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that, did we?
We need more House Hardy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
that
it.
House Hardy Halloween special. That was I don't know. It's hard to live up to the standards of the Impact Wrestling Broken Hardy stuff, but that came real close.
Agreed. Yeah, it's a little different animal, but it's got a Pee-wee's Playhouse charm to it. Watching the Boogeyman eat all the worms and seeing
Matt
Hardy
eating the green beans.
Green beans.
The fact that Matt ate a worm,
yes,
was impressive.
Commitment to the craft.
Yeah, for sure. It was great to see. I knew the Boogeyman was the Boogeyman, but there was a dude that was dressed like Elias. But it was Halloween, so it wasn't Elias.
Right.
So, when The Godfather came out, I wasn't completely convinced that was actually him. I was like, that's just some dude being The Godfather.
Right.
But no,
I can see that.
And then at the end, when he went in the Lake of Reincarnation and came back as Papa Shango, I was like, no, that's him. That's totally him.
Outstanding.
Same thing with the Hurricane.
Yes.
The Hurricane has put on weight in his age, and I was not convinced that was actually Shane Helms.
Right.
Until the end of it. And I was like, I have been watching Shane Helms this entire time. How odd.
Right. Does not line up with the one that I remember from 18 years ago.
No, it doesn't. But they dropped, on Survivor Series weekend, they dropped 2 different specials on us. They dropped the Dean Ambrose Chronicle thing, which I mentioned last week. Was kind of more of an in-character documentary, which was kind of and then they dropped the AJ Styles 365 on us.
How was it?
It's great.
Okay.
It's so good. In fact, I don't remember... No, I don't think I mentioned this last week, but while I was watching it, my girlfriend Amy came in the room, and I was like, oh, do you want me to put something else on? She's like, no, I've kind of been watching this from the kitchen, and it looks really fascinating. And we just watched the rest of it.
Excellent.
But you get to see a lot of backstage stuff. There's a really cool scene. I think it's last year's WrestleMania where AJ comes back and shakes Vince McMahon's hand, and Vince gives him a big thank you. That's just what we needed.
Awesome.
Kind of thing. And there's a lot of cool backstage stuff where you get the impression that AJ is valued and appreciated.
Excellent.
Backstage, and that's really cool to see.
Those are some of the best moments, right, where you see guys getting to come back to Gorilla.
Yes.
To be addressed by McMahon.
Yes.
That was the KO one where he
the Kevin Owens one.
Says, is that what you're looking for? And he's like, nope.
Not really.
He's like, oh.
Ooh, that sucks.
Yes.
That's real rough. Go back to the showers and carry that with you. That's gotta hurt like hell. Come back, Kevin Owens, soon. Come back, we miss you.
Oh, man. Yeah, if this story keeps... That's the one thing I like about this story dragging in terms of what's happening with the front office stuff is that I get to each week think, if Sammy and KO came back today, how would I book them into this thing?
Right. How could you factor them back into what's going on?
That's the one thing that keeps me going with Raw right now.
NXT, something we always talk about, is definitely something you want to catch on the network. Last week was the NXT TakeOver... post show where they give you the highlights, stuff like that. But it did feature the dark match, which was Candice LeRae and Nikki Cross.
So I did not see it yet.
It's good to know that Nikki Cross did have a match during Survivor Series weekend, because we were really pulling for Nikki to be on the SmackDown team. And this week's match, coming from San Jose, California, features Lars Sullivan and Keith Lee.
Ooh.
That's going to be a knockdown, drag out.
Very interesting, considering that we're seeing now that Lars Sullivan's about to make the move up.
Yeah.
Does he bury Keith Lee in an early match? Interesting.
Yeah.
Boy, Lars Sullivan's setting up to be like Ryback 2.0 or what?
It certainly feels that way.
I don't know that he has a whole lot of depth. I think, of course you can potentially write the character in a very different way, but I don't know. I don't feel comfortable that Lars Sullivan has the charisma to make it on the next level.
Yeah.
I also don't feel like he's a total dud, right? I mean, I thought Elias was a total dud.
Sure.
I thought that Baron Corbin was a total dud.
Right.
I would say that Elias is obviously the opposite of a dud, and Baron Corbin is acquitting himself fairly well. He's still riding the edge of, do I belong? This storyline has been good.
Yeah.
But
it's actually fascinating to think how much Baron Corbin was not over with me for the longest time. And it took this was the sweet spot for Baron Corbin. For okay, this is what he should have been doing the whole time. This is where he shines.
Yeah, seems to be. Does he shine brightly enough to be doing this a year from now? Hard to tell.
Well, it's where he shines until Braun Strowman breaks him in half.
No, that's yes.
They did just start the Edge and Christian show again, which is a sketch comedy show.
I have to say, I don't know Edge and Christian that well, and when I hear them on podcasts or whatever, I'm not that enthused by them. But I didn't grow up with them.
Yeah.
And the commercial, I was like, if this was the Chris Jericho show and it was all the same bits,
yeah,
I would be all in.
Right.
So, did you by any chance watch this show?
I've seen some bits of it.
Okay.
And I'm very excited by the Samoa Joe skit.
Okay.
Where he's selling Girl Scout cookies out of the back of his car. I don't want to ruin the joke for you, but
yeah,
I'm
our boy
sure.
Brandon on the One Fall page said that he watched it. As the day of this recording, it is his birthday. So,
happy birthday, Brandon!
Happy birthday, Brandon! What's up, man?
Thanks for hanging out with us on the One Fall Show on your birthday, brother. But yeah, Samoa Joe is in it. The Gallows and Anderson.
Yes.
Bray Wyatt has a skit in here.
It's a great I think I have to watch it just based on this is the roster I want to see in ring.
Well, and I remember there was an episode in their season 1 where Bayley beat the crap out of Tommy Dreamer with hardcore objects.
Okay.
Tommy Dreamer was a reoccurring character, and he was sitting in a beanbag chair eating something, and Bayley walked in with a kendo stick and just started wailing on him.
That's what we wanted her to do to Alexa Bliss.
Right. Edge and Christian are funny, man, because their shtick essentially turned into Bill and Ted. Or Wayne's World is probably a closer comparison, but they were essentially just two blonde idiots.
Yeah, they're just goofballs.
Yeah, they were just Wayne's World, and it's kind of like when DX comes back and they're in their 50s. I don't know if it still works now.
Right.
Now that we're all in our 40s, I don't know.
We're grown-ups now.
Right. I don't know if you guys can still pull that off.
You're definitely grown-ups.
Yeah, for sure.
Would I laugh if my dad was doing that? No, I would be sad.
Man, I'm going to start thinking about everything in that relation. Would I laugh if my dad was doing that? Oh man, well that about wraps up this week.
Nice. Wow, that went fast.
Very compact this week.
All right. How many minutes did we get in?
We're at about the 40-minute mark.
All right, I can dig it.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
I can dig it.
It's a slower week. We still got 3 or 4 weeks to build towards TLC, but like I said, I feel like we already know what our main event is. How are you going to top Charlotte, Asuka, and Becky?
You're not.
In even if you tell me that Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles are doing a ladder match, no, I'm not as emotionally invested.
No, and again, I do not want to see Daniel Bryan taking on more risk. He continues to take no more. The Lesnar match was about the ceiling for me. That is as much as I can take from where the entertainment becomes fear.
Yes. Yeah, that was real rough to watch. Well, you want to pick our losers this week?
I sure do.
All right.
And I like the way you phrase that, sir.
All right, so these are the guys, as we said at the top of the show, that we determined are so low down the card that there is probably no possible way these guys make it onto WrestleMania.
Right.
Now, Freddie Rakang had a real interesting question on the One Fall Show page earlier this week, is that as far as the rules to this game go, what constitutes active roster?
Yeah, so I think that there's an active roster page on WWE.com, right?
Okay.
And then in addition to that, anyone who has wrestled, this was your suggestion, anyone who has wrestled in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
So
we
don't know if The Undertaker's on that list.
I wouldn't necessarily call Big Show or The Undertaker or John Cena active roster.
Right.
However, they have wrestled in the last 6 months, so I feel like they qualify. Not to mention that they're all names that you typically see at WrestleMania.
Yes.
So, I don't think either of us is going to pick The Undertaker in the next 6 weeks, but
as we start to move along, those are people that definitely won't score any points between now and WrestleMania. We have to figure out perhaps that after a couple of months, perhaps the point value goes up for appearances as we get closer to WrestleMania.
Oh, that's not a bad plan.
That might be something we
That's
look
not a
into
bad
as we
plan at
go.
all.
Because, you might strategically... Like, I could take The Undertaker now, knowing full well we're going to see him at WrestleMania. He could die, and we'll still see him at WrestleMania.
He is the dead man after all.
But we won't be seeing him on a week-to-week basis because, of course, the way
That's
it's
true.
So it's a little,
That's some strategy right there. I didn't think of that. All right, and I think for the purposes of me and you sitting in this room, we're going to try not to pick each other's wrestlers.
Yes,
to
correct.
see how far down the roster we can get
Yes.
before we have to start really stretching.
Agreed.
All right, so last week you picked Epico, Epico Cologne. Who's your pick this week?
This week I'm going to take... he is out with an injury, so it's a little bit of a cheap shot, but I don't think he's going to be coming back strong. One half of the Bludgeon Brothers.
So strong that you cannot remember his name. It is not Luke Harper.
It is not Luke Harper. I believe that he's going to win
Eric.
the Universal title.
It is Eric Rowan.
Eric. Pogo the Clown Rowan.
It's Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan is your second week pick. That's not a bad pick. I hadn't even thought of the Bludgeon Brothers, but definitely if whenever either of those guys come back, I can picture seeing Luke Harper before I see Eric Rowan for sure. Especially with Bray Wyatt, just on the cusp of coming back. He was at Starrcade last weekend.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
I tried to watch that, and it was shot like using the 1995 camera or something.
Yeah.
What the hell was going on
They
there?
only gave us like an hour of it too.
It was weird, man. The audio was funky. I was like, I'm not watching this. I
Right.
don't know what's going on here, but
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Last week I picked Mr. Tyler Breeze. This week I'm going with another heartbreaker for me, Aiden English.
Aiden English.
I don't know that Aiden English is going to be at WrestleMania this year.
Excellent choice, sir.
So, of course, you guys can play along at home and pick your own wrestlers and see how you're scoring and keep up with our scoring.
So far, we have scored 0 points each.
Yeah.
We are winning.
So I'm not going to keep your guys' scores on my spreadsheet, but I'm going to have to make a spreadsheet for the two of us.
All right.
To keep up with this. Follow me on the Nerd Radio podcast where you can hear about all things nerd. This week we demoed the Transformers trading card game and talked about some nerd news and all sorts of other stuff. It's on the WRAF.com page, and you can get it by texting nerd to your phone, on your phone. Don't text it to your own phone.
Nerd. What's up, nerd? Oh, someone sent me what? How dare you?
It's 49743. It's 4WRAF. You can text that. You text nerd to that number, and they'll send the latest podcast right to your phone. Shawnee, tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, I've got a podcast now with my buddy Matt Coltno called Talk Horror to Me. Today I've been editing our third episode for many, many hours. We have one episode that is so questionable I didn't want to release it, so I've edited it down to a lean 11 minutes. About 50-minute episode that I pared down.
What was it originally?
About 50 minutes. And it was a lot of me. People who listen to this show on the regular know that there are times when I'm just going off in the tangent and I'm using the wrong words as you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
And there's a lot of that in this episode. So I just pared it down to just mainly jokes about snakes on a plane. And that's about it. Yeah, it's about 11 minutes of those. So,
but you can get the first 2 episodes right now.
Yes, and there is a full good episode affixed to the 10 minutes that I'm putting. I'm putting out. We're releasing a good episode along with that one as sort of a bonus thrown at the end.
It is, I'm not Talk Horror
to Me. Yes,
I'm not saying this because you're sitting in the room, but I greatly appreciated both episodes, and they made me last weekend go and watch a couple of horror movies.
Excellent.
Just out of the blue, I had to watch the Ritual, which you guys talked about in the second one, and then catching the Midnight Meat Train because somebody in the group had mentioned there was a Clive Barker movie with Vinnie Jones in it. And I'm like, well, I'm in. I got to see this.
A good movie that we have not reviewed for the show, but we're probably going to have to fast track that one just because people are talking about it over on the page. So that's a lot of fun.
Yep.
And it's been a blast because we've gotten a few people who have stopped in the middle of our episode and watched the movie.
Ooh, nice.
Just as we do the spoiler thing.
Yeah.
And most of the reviews have been good. One person was, couple of fans did not like The Ritual. And they said they watched about 20 minutes of it and were like, done.
See, I feel like I see now I feel like I listened to the podcast wrong. I should have stopped it when you guys started spoiling it and then watched it and then come back and listen to it.
Either way, we're still trying to work on the format. It's tricky. I mean, this is episode 53 or 54 of us, and we're just talking about finally getting rid of the dead weight that is Monday Night Raw. What do you think about Red Dead 2, man?
Red Dead Redemption 2?
Yes.
I have not delved into it very deeply.
Okay.
It's a bit of a long story, but we've only gone about 45 minutes, so I guess I can tell it. I've been playing Persona 5 on my PlayStation since last fall.
Okay.
And I go to the yearly and Anime Con every fall, and I went just a couple of weeks ago, and it reminded me that I still had not beaten Persona 5, and that was 2 weeks after Red Dead Redemption 2 had come out.
Okay.
I got about 2 hours into Red Dead Redemption 2, went to the con and went, I got to beat Persona 5. So I shelved Red Dead so I can try and motor through Persona before I get back. But I did get far enough in Red Dead to get to the mission where you get super drunk and you walk around yelling, Lenny!
Okay,
and that was fun as fuck.
That's one of the best parts of the game. Man, there's a lot of... I mean, again, this is how the game was, so I don't know why I'm surprised, but this happened with... along the line, somewhere along the line of Grand Theft Auto as well, where it's... The map gets so big, it's no longer nearly as fun for me to just ride around.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have a radio on my horse, so it's very, very slow in my opinion. I am not loving it as much as people online seem to be loving it. But I'm going to keep playing.
I feel like Rockstar, especially with the last Grand Theft Auto and this particular game, they want to make the map so big and they want to incorporate so many different systems going on that they're trying to make it more like Cowboy Simulator.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked it where every couple of blocks something crazy was happening, right? Like in Grand Theft, you could go down 2 blocks and there's another crazy thing going on.
Right.
I like a little more Gremlins 2 in my
for sure
my Rockstar games than Gremlins 1.
There is some Gremlins 2 in there, though. I'm sure you've seen some of the like random ass shit you can just come across while you're riding through the plains.
Yes, there is some random stuff you can come across. Yeah,
watching a dude like check the shoe on his horse, and I rode up to him just to see if I could help. And
he's like, blasted in the face.
He's like, "Howdy, partner," and I went to say hi, and just poof, the horse kicked him in the face and murdered him.
It has moments for sure.
Yeah,
and some beautiful scenes, but man, a lot of riding around on your horse.
Yeah,
which I liked in the last game, but now. I think I've had enough of it.
Did you pick it up for the online, or did you pick it up just because you?
No, I haven't tried the online at all. Maybe I will like that more.
Yeah, the online just started this week, and I haven't tried it out yet. But I've heard a lot of griefers so far. There's a lot of people because it gives you can make your own dude, and then you take on missions. There's its own story in the online mode.
Oh, okay.
Which is kind of fun, but there's a lot of people that know specific missions. Because they've done them, and they will like sit by the spawn point for an item or for a guy that you've got to talk to or something like that, and just murder people just to be a dick.
Dirty bastards. Yeah.
Those guys need to fall in a hole.
Those guys need to be reckless, enjoy nothing, and get tossed straight into the hole.
Straight into the hole. Follow us on the Facebooks at the One Fall Show group. Follow Shawnee and the Talk Horror to Me group. Fun stuff there. And come back next week. Hopefully Raw will be much, much more exciting.
If not, man, we might just have to find something completely different to talk about.
That's true.
There's got to be something else on that television.
That's true. We'll figure it out. Come back next week when we run down season 3 of Friends, as well as Tuesday Night SmackDown on the One Fall Show.
The following contest scheduled for One Fall is for the NXT Championship.
I got the gift again and the gift of Jed, and I'll put that lazy eye right back to work.
Any man with 2 hands has a fighting chance.
That's Luke Gallows there on the right. That's Carl Anderson. Anderson and Gallows are here.
Look at Nia having a little fun, sending a message to the entire women's division.
Delete! 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 Delete!
Oh, really? I'm not allowed in your little huddle?
No, sir.
Really? You know what? Big E, you just made the list!
Oh, no. Yes!
Alexa, play Undisputed.
Here's a new album you might.
No, Alexa, what are you doing?
Alexa, you're a dick.
No, Alexa, stop. How dare you know I don't like that. What are you saying to these people? Alexa, play Undisputed.
Here's Undisputed, The Undisputed Era by WWE and CFOS on Amazon Music.
Shock the system.
Woo!
being intimidated by my dancing.